Here is a peer review that focuses on higher order concerns, like plagiarism, conciseness, and strength of argument. One could argue, though, that law enforcement cannot be everywhere, and therefore there is no consequence of committing a crime, but there is plenty of benefit in certain situations. I counter this with the example of the Panopticon. The Panopticon was the design of a prison by Jeremy Bentham. It was a circular building with the prisoners' cells located around the outer edge, a watchtower located in the dead center, and communal areas in between. This prison design allowed whomever was in the watchtower to see every single inch of the prison, the trick being that the prisoners could not see into the watchtower. Theoretically, every prisoner would behave according to the prison's rules because at any time they faced the threat of being watched, and therefore the threat of punishment, regardless of whether or not there was actually anyone watching them. This prison design was never actually executed by Bentham, but the theory behind it, panopticism, has led to the use of closed-circuit television and various forms of surveillance that make one feel the need to follow laws regardless of the known physical presence of an authority figure. Panopticism poses the idea that people will be on their best behavior if they do not know when they are being watched, and with the technology and structure of today's world, i.e. stoplight cameras, surveillance cameras, internet search history, the theory is more prevalent than ever, and so much of our behavior, whether or not authority is present, is due to the coercion of law. Okay, so the first thing that I note is the second part of the first sentence. One could argue, though, that law enforcement cannot be everywhere, and therefore there is no consequence of committing a crime, but there is plenty of benefit in certain situations. But there is plenty of benefit in certain situations is a bit unclear. I'm not sure if this is what you're countering with or what your argument against your thesis is saying. Please clarify this part. The Panopticon was the design of a prison by Jeremy Bentham. It was a circular building with the prisoners' cells located around the outer edge, a watchtower located in the dead center, and communal areas in between. This prison design allowed whomever was in the watchtower to see every single inch of the prison, the trick being that the prisoners could not see into the watchtower. I think you need a citation somewhere talking about panopticism, just to avoid any plagiarism and to give credit to the creator of the idea, or the source that you use to find it. Theoretically, this sentence is very long and is a little bit confusing. I'm going to see if I can get rid of this part. It may or may not be necessary, and revise. And add this when it makes sense. So the sentence is now more concise. Okay. I think let's see. Regardless of the known physical presence this prison design never actually executed. Known physical presence is kind of unnecessary. I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay. And those are some of my main concerns. I just have a few notes to make at the end. According to your definition of coercion, is this actually intimidation? Connect this idea back to your interpretation of coercion. Can there be a such thing as passive intimidation? This might be more relevant to what you're trying to explain. Could this paragraph be two paragraphs, with one describing the panopticon and another paralleling it to analogous real-life situations? And is internet search history really preventing people from committing crimes? In practice, surveillance cameras and closed-circuit televisions are actively watched to ensure people don't commit crimes. Is this really an example of the type of latent coercion that you speak of? Thank you for allowing me to revise your paper, and I hope that my suggestions were helpful and you'll be successful in your revision process.